This is what a good writer does, and I'll stand by this absolutely. I think this is incredible what Robert Kirkman did with Michonne in this issue. Absolutely incredible. Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and I have missed the hell out of you guys. First thing first, I want to announce for those who haven't heard, Doomsday Kingdom, because of you guys, because of your support, has now released issue 2 digitally, and we're going to be coming in the future with a physical copy. We are still, definitely no matter what, releasing 2 and 3 together. And last thing, issue 1, if you're new to Doomsday Kingdom, it's a zombie apocalypse story. We got issue 1 digitally on sale for $1.99 right now at doomsdaykingdom.com. Go ahead and dive into it, and if you do like number 1, turn around, get issue 2 too, and then come back and let us know what you think, or dive over to the Doomsday Kingdom Twitter. Okay, I'm going to shut up and get right to The Walking Dead, sorry. Let's jump into why we're here, and that's to review The Walking Dead, and this is a big deal. This is issue 175, and this is part 1 of the New World Order story arc. I was going to say larger world, I don't know why. That's kind of what we're getting. This is the biggest by far. Now keep in mind, when we ran into Negan and gang, I believe they had about 200 in his army or crew or sanctuary. Maybe that's the survivors and the people in the sanctuary as well. But I remember that number being thrown out, like around 200. And other communities had like 40 people here at the hilltop, 20 people here. It's if you compare the two, let's say a couple hundred people at the different communities. Let's say they have 500 people. That's pretty big for the communities. You can look at the picture in the fair and just look at all those heads, but look at the new community we're at now called the Commonwealth. 50,000 people, roughly. That's what this guy's saying. And there's also a powerful cliffhanger at the very end that I really enjoyed. But one con I want to get out of the way, I'm still against Magna. No, I'm sorry. I'm still against Juanita, is that her name? I think that's her name, Princess. I'm still absolutely against this princess. I'm not against the character. Some people are against the character. I don't think we've seen enough yet to be against the character. I'm not against that. I'm just against her being there and taking the light off Magna. Magna would have fit perfectly in this role. We simply don't need Princess. As a storytelling device, we wanted more of Magna, and we get here in this community, and we have this opportunity where our group of survivors found somebody and they took him in, and you can see the story device and how he's using it. But they could say that for Magna. Keep in mind, we've been reading the comic for a few years since Magna's introduction, but she's only been in the story for what? A few months at most, at the absolute most. Correct me if I'm wrong. Magna could have said the same thing she said. I'm getting to know these people. They took me and my people in, and we've been living in their community and yada, yada, yada. So I feel like we don't need this princess character. We should have had Magna, and boom, a lot of people are screaming for diversity and lesbians, a lesbian couple. There you go. You got a lesbian couple, and now she has a bigger part. There's one thing I want to point out that the comic does better than the show, and I get why the show does it. When you hire actors, you're hiring human beings. You have actors. You want to give them a role. You want to give them lines. You want them to say things and build their characters up. The comic does it better, in my opinion, and it might be... there might be no workaround on a TV show, but what the comic does is we have these characters here. We got, Michonne and Siddiq, Eugene, Yumiko and Magna, and then Princess. Yumiko doesn't even say anything. Siddiq gets one line. Oh, football. You got football. That's what we need. We don't, and that's one thing I love about comics and having a lot of the characters. If there's just simply no time to have an interaction with that character, they don't do shit. They just go, oh, and ooh, and ah. That's it. It's simple. With a show, we'll get, 15 minutes of an episode with a character that we really don't need to get them right here. Some characters are meant to be supporting. They're not meant to have these big, elaborate roles. So I do like that. Now, about the community. One con, and then we'll go into what I love. I'm still against the white outfits. I really like them, but I was assuming they would be the guards that did the inner perimeter, and we would have the red guards with the black. Officer Mercer was showcased on the cover of the next issue. That would be a guard out in the field. They're clean as shit, and it doesn't make any sense because we see them strategically, braca, braca, braca. Okay, move in close, use your blades, no bullets. Or they did that first, I'm sorry, and then they went to the gunfire. There's gotta be blood, guts, and dirt and grime getting on them. In the one image, it did look like the guard had a little bit of dirt and muck on his helmet. But to have white uniforms, I'm sorry, I just don't see the rationale here. Maybe if it relates to that type of community, maybe it doesn't make any practical sense, but the leaders are trying to clean it up a bit, clean up their life, clean up their living situation. So maybe that's representative of what they're for. And if that's the case, I'm fine. I'm fine because it's now in the story that it's not practical, but it's about the image that they represent, about cleaning up their surroundings, right? That's actually a perfect way to look at it. The white represents cleaning up their surroundings so they can have somewhat of a normal life that they lost, All right, so we get a Negan-like character. This guy reminded me so much of Negan. Not the cursing, but he just looks like Negan with slicked hair. That's not even a con. I'm just mentioning he reminded me of Negan. I don't care. I think he looks cool. A little slick back hair. I like his nonchalant attitude, yet at the same time, he's straight up front. He doesn't give off any creeper vibes, like no governor vibes. So I'm like Ned. I want to see more of his character. I think his name is Lance. And he's got his little book, reminded me a little bit of Milton. We know they're a huge community. We got some, I want to highlight this awesome Charlie Adler artwork. And this one walker, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull images, but this one walker reminded me of a Whisperer. And I thought in my head, it would be so damn funny to get a scene in the movies, in the TV show, since we can't see it in the comic. How funny would this be if we get Whisperers who are hiding in and out of the groups and they don't see that they're coming upon survivors, and maybe two Whisperer buddies are talking about doing some plan, and they turn around, it's like, oh shit, there's survivors there, and the survivors just mow all the walkers down, and the Whisperers just get all shot up, and they're like, that was dumb. Jerry should have paid attention. Oh, wait a minute. Jerry's a character on the show. Give him a different name. Anyway, so let's go to that cliffhanger, because this is something that I predicted a while ago in a very different scenario. But I honestly think, and you guys know, I get a little overconfident and cocky with my ideas. I feel like that's the only talent I have, is being very creative. But I've always loved the idea of Michonne finding or reuniting with her daughter or daughters. I believe in the comic she has 2 daughters. And I love the idea, and I mentioned it before, it'd be real cool if one of her daughters was with Magna's group. It was Connie, was the girl from Magna's group, where I thought it might be a good twist to create that as Michonne's daughter. They show up and whoop-de-whoop. But I think this is even better, the way they did it here, absolutely, where they get to this huge community. Let's talk about this briefly, because I love this idea that outside the communities, and this is from real life, from terrorist attacks, or you've seen this in real life, where people put up signs, especially during 9/11 and stuff like that. People go missing during a terrorist attack, and people will put up posters, have you seen my family members? And now even on Facebook, it's become a popular thing, or an instrument to use on social media to say that you're safe in case there is an attack, and then family and loved ones know that you're safe, even with a natural disaster. Now, having the pictures on the board here is absolutely heartbreaking and touching, and I think it's one of the great emotional aspects that you find in a zombie apocalypse story. One of my all-time favorite, and I stand by this absolutely, and I love the shit out of this, where Michonne sees this sign. And keep in mind, this was an important aspect that I'm actually fucking thrilled that Kirkman did this. This is what a good writer does, and I'll stand by this absolutely. I think this is incredible what Robert Kirkman did with Michonne in this issue. Absolutely incredible. This is what a good writer does. Robert Kirkman could have rushed through the Whisper story arc and did, oh, here's 6 issues, bada bing, bada boom, new beginning, Whispers, let's move on to the Commonwealth, and then boom, now you got Michonne, because in the new beginning she was looking for her kids. It was eating her alive. She left and went looking in the cities and looking in the surrounding areas, and now it's paying off. So long ago, our reading time, there's 2 different timelines. The timeline in the story and us as fans reading it, because we only get 22 pages a month. But it's been so long for us that she was looking for, story-wise, for us reading it, that she was looking for a family. And now is the payoff. That was the setup, and this is the payoff. And I'm so glad he didn't rush it. And I think this is the perfect moment to do it. You get to this huge community, a community you don't know. And how do you get to know this community? One of the best ways to be introduced to this community introduce a new character. Well, they gave us this princess character. She doesn't know anything about the community. But look at, now we got Michonne's daughter, or daughters, have a life in this community. It's so much easier now, and not only is it just an introduction and like a tour, so to speak, inside this new community, but it's with a character that has some emotional impact. Michonne's daughter, fantastic. There's no getting away from that glare. I don't know why I put on that light above me all the damn time. I should just leave these lights on because I'm ducking and dodging that stupid glare. Maybe I'll look down. I'll look down all the time. I'll put on a hat. Anyway, I thought this issue was a fantastic read, a good setup to this huge community. And I want to hear from the fans who were a little worried that this big community would take the story in a whole different and crazy direction, a direction that they're not comfortable with. Let me know what you think about this issue. Give me your thoughts and opinions down in that comment box, and especially about the cliffhanger. I'm loving it, and I'm very excited for this community and this story arc in particular, because this is a big deal. This could change the future of the story permanently. Like, this is a big deal, and for those fans who are a little worried, I understand definitely what they're worried about, but keep in mind, I still will stand by this. You can have the old story theme and vibe, and the new. The new, when you follow the characters in this community and what's going on with the communities and the story unfolding forward, and the old, because you could keep sending them out to explore, to scavenge, to get resources, to all that, maybe to expand the communities even. You know, a community this big, you're not just expanding one little block. Okay, there's no zombies, let's, put a fence up, let's yada, yada, yada. A community this big, my God, there's got to be some type of expansion that's so overflowing with potential to have an old-fashioned, creepy, atmospheric vibe to the storytelling. You guys know what I'm talking about. I absolutely loved it. Put your thoughts and opinions in that comment box. And like I said in the beginning of the video, issue 1 is on sale for $1.99. If you're new, check it out. And if you like it, really encourage you to pick up issue 2. I am so very proud of it. And the artwork from artist James Milne, he did a fantastic job. There's some really incredible imagery there. And there's some definitely subtle hints all throughout issue 1 and 2 about the different types of dangers out there. I'll just say it like that. There's some massive hints, and I'm actually pretty shocked we haven't gotten a lot of comments on some of the hints that are actually in issue 1 and 2. I mean, there's some huge, like, I'm laying the groundwork for something epic, or at least I feel as a zombie fan. There's definitely something epic that's a fresh spin on the zombie genre. So if you're interested in that, and keep in mind, it is set up to be just like a post-apocalyptic story where you have the breakdown of society, but we're going to go in a certain direction that will allow Doomsday Kingdom to stand on its own, much like The Last of Us is its own zombie type. That's what we're going for with Doomsday Kingdom. We don't want people looking at it and going, oh, there's The Walking Dead, but not The Walking Dead. No, we are definitely going out of our way to structure things so it has clear differences. The zombies alone are very different from The Walking Dead. Again, you'll see them in issue 1 and you'll be like, oh, regular zombies. We're not going to have smart talking zombies, so don't get too worried. But there's definitely some thrilling things going on. And the zombie process, let's say, is a little bit slower than you're used to. So stay tuned for that, because I think it allows the story to be a little more refreshing than doing the same old zombie, like instant zombies. So stay tuned. Thoughts and opinions. Thank you for the support. And if you want to help Matt support us on Patreon, all the links will be down in that video description. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm done talking. It's your turn.